Right now, I am just in a very deep depression, and I feel like I just need to speak out to others who are probably feeling the same way right now. Earlier, a few hours ago, I felt amazing. I felt like I was on top of the world. And no, I'm not on drugs. I was steadily quitting cigarettes. I had cut back to just a half of a cigarette, and I started to really feel more alive. I felt great. But then, this isn't the first time I've quit cigarettes, and it always happens where, I have ups and downs, where at one point I may feel amazing. I'm really proud of myself, and I just feel like there's so much good in the world and in myself and others, but it's like the slightest thing can trigger me into a really low state of thinking and feeling. And I went and I smoked a whole cigarette, and I just had to numb myself because it was just so intense. Just like beyond belief intense, and I'm just oh my god, like I don't even know how to talk right now. My mind rushes so fast. It's like, why can't I convey it all out loud the way that I think it so quickly and process it all so quickly? I wanted to talk about what's going on in the world, and I guess one of the main things that really just depresses me so much is thinking about innocent children being harmed in any form. It can be as slight as a parent who just lets their kids watch endless amounts of YouTube or cable TV, Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, or the parents that just give their kids infinite amounts of sugar and soda and never even offer them water, and things like that. That is child abuse and neglect, and it's just a way for the parents or grandparents to basically let the kids raise themselves, and they don't have any structure. And even though they might seem like they're having a blast because they're on the drug, sugar, the number one gateway drug, and they might seem very content because they're zombified to the TV screen, it doesn't mean that they're emotionally healthy, and they're not learning good coping mechanisms for stress. Like, it's basically giving them an addiction before they even have a chance to deal with life in a more healthy way. I really suck at describing things sometimes. I feel like I used to be a lot more able to speak how I feel when I was a teenager, before I was told that I was evil because I found so many fucked up things in the Christian Bible, and I brought it to my dad and my grandparents' attention, the ones I was living with at the time, when I was 15. And I myself was Christian, and I'm the kind of person who always had to have a life of meaning. I want to know that what I believe in has an actual purpose, an actual deep meaning that I connect with, not just because everyone else is doing it, or the majority believes it's the right thing, the normal thing to do. And my family hated that about me. We were like best friends. I mean, I grew up in the kind of household that I explained. I was neglected. I was given no rules. I was given no structure, no examples of healthy eating. And basically, I would say it was a suicide apocalyptic cult. It was a slow suicide cult that I left. And now I have 3, 4, 5 family members. And they're all younger than me. All of the older ones hate me. They fucking hate me, like with a passion. You can just see it in their eyes whenever I'm around them, even if they are trying to flaunt oh, I'm such a great person little attitude, or I'm such a great Christian, I'm so forgiving, and I'm so loving and accepting. You know, it's all fucking fake. And they hate me, you know? I'm an empath and I can pick up on it. I can hear the words that their eyes are speaking. But not just that, I mean, all the times that they told me, basically, that they hate me. My mom told me when I was 5, she was not a Christian, but she claimed to be a powerful witch, and I would say she didn't want to admit it, but she is a sorceress. I think that's the word. Yeah, she uses manipulative magic to get her way. And she uses everybody around her. She even had my dad and his family fooled to think that she was Christian, because she would occasionally go to church with them. And yeah, so she hates me because she couldn't control me the way that she could do everybody else in her life, including my brother, my sister, her mother. And yeah, basically she just knows how to wrap people around her finger. And okay, so there's that. I no longer talk to her. She has literally told me I am no longer family to her many times, and by this point, that is a much needed vacation from her bullshit. So that does not faze me at all. And I mean, you know, the only thing that fazes me is the fact that I do not have a mother figure that I can talk to when I need woman advice, when I need advice from older women. I have people that I have met who have also been abused online. I've met them, and I will probably never meet them in real life, but there's a lot of older women who are like mother figures to me, and that is good enough for me. That is like, that's amazing for me. Some people have nobody. And I have my husband. I have my kids. My son, he is my oldest child, my first child, and I really hate to say it and put this out there publicly, but he's been brainwashed by my dad's side of the family to think that I am pure evil, basically, and that they're the good guys, when in fact my dad abused me. He threw a giant fucking old boxy computer monitor at my head when I was 15, and I told him that the Bible was full of evil shit, and I didn't believe it. And then we got into a big debate, and then I called him an asshole because he was drunk and just talking shit to me, just basically being an asshole. Like, there was no reasoning with him. And I was being calm, but I called him an asshole, and then he came to my room and threw my computer at my head, and I dodged it. And then he punched me in the arm, and then I got to the corner of my room on my bed, as far in the corner as I could, while he had his fist up to my face, 1 inch from my face, telling me to say it again, say it again. And by the way, he would brag that he is such a great fighter. He used to get in so many fights in school, and his dad encouraged it, being a sociopath. And also we're related to a world champion boxer. So it's like, he was trying to either kill me that night or kill me emotionally, kill my soul, my sense of who I am, by terrifying me, because I thought that the Bible had so many sexist beliefs in it, and even where it tells you like how to mark your slaves, how to abuse your wives and your children. Because of that, he told me I was evil. And what did he do? He used violence against me to prove that his God is loving and good. Now I consider myself pagan. But after that, I became an atheist, and I even experimented with the philosophy, not the actual practice, but the philosophy of Satanism, which, in my mind, Satan was the good guy if God was supposed to be the one ordering people to kill each other, ordering Moses to pillage towns and kill everyone except the virgin women and take them as your wives or slaves, sex slaves. And the day after that happened, my dad, he had extra money from claiming me on his income tax, and he gave me $200. He essentially bought my silence. I was going to call the cops and report him that night, and him and my grandparents ran up to me and mobbed me and started screaming in my face that I am not going to tell anybody about this. When I got pregnant with my son at the age of 17, they started treating me like a fucking queen. It was so amazing. I didn't actually question why they were treating me like a queen. When they found out I was having a boy, it turns out, and I had known this, but I didn't want to realize that it was because they're so sexist against women, and anytime there's a boy in the family, he gets treated like royalty, and the girls get treated like slaves. They brainwashed my son as soon as he learned how to talk and understand words. They started getting him to spend as little time with me as they possibly could. We were doing finger painting together. We were going outside and playing outside. We were observing little neat things out in nature. And once he learned how, and by the way, that's the happiest I had ever been around them. Having that amazing bond with my son, it brought me back to life. I'd never known the feeling of love until I had my son, but then once he had enough teeth to eat hard candy and things like that, and able to hold a cup, they would give him candy. They would sneak it to him, even though I would beg them, please stop giving it to him, because I saw how he was changing. And they started giving him soda, and if I ever caught them giving it to him, I would be mobbed by the three of them, or whoever was around out of the three, and I would be scolded like I was a child, a bad child, or like I was just this evil control freak. They would talk down to me and tell me, what am I doing? Why won't I let him just be a kid? Why am I trying to take away all the fun in his childhood? They never once gave him water. It was always very sugary juice, like usually the artificial kind that didn't even have any juice in it, or soda, or double caffeinated black tea. That was the main thing that my grandma always had in the refrigerator, and my grandpa would even cuss her out, and my dad, telling her she better go make some tea as soon as it ran out, and they were all addicted to it. And she would add like a whole cup of sugar to every batch of it, and that's really all they drank. The adults didn't drink soda, they drank beer and tea. And so they got my son hooked on that. They got him to think that they were the good ones, and I was the bad guy. I was the one that tried to ruin all the fun for him. I wasn't letting him be a kid. This is what they told him every single day. If I ever tried to have a talk with him, the kind of talk that a mother would have with their child, telling him, basic things about decency, like, please don't roll your eyes at me when I'm talking to you. Stop walking away from me when I'm having a conversation with you. Things like that. They would step in, get in my face, and tell me that I need to stop. Once my grandpa even said right in front of my son that if his mom ever talked to him the way I did to my son, which was telling him he better stop rolling his eyes at me and giving me an attitude, if his mom ever talked to him that way, he would have kicked her ass. He said that to me, standing right next to my son. I don't even know really what to do to get my son back. He's living with his dad because I had to let him live there so I could escape from living at my dad and grandparents' house. I honestly for a while thought I would never move out. They would abuse me, but then they would also tell me I never had to move, that I can live there forever. They did not let me get a license or a job. The one time I did get a job, I had to quit the next day because my grandpa was on the way there to work and back. He was just telling me all of this negative stuff, like being more negative than usual about how I'm stressing out my grandma while she was the one who was emotionally abusing me every single day for a while. And I was just defending myself and trying to talk to her about what the root of the problem was. And then she eventually told me she just does not like me. And then denied ever saying it. And told my dad that I start problems with her every day, when in fact I was trying to be her friend, because I felt bad for her, because I know that she had been abused by my grandpa. He used to physically beat her up every single day back when they were in their 20s and 30s, from what I heard from my mom and my dad. So I felt bad for her, and I tried to be there for her, but she would just get into these moods where she hated me. She was nice to my brother, she was nice to every single person in the house, but whenever I was around, she would even tell me that I was getting too much food when she made dinner and called everybody into the kitchen to get food one at a time. She would stand right by the stove and in the corner of her eye watch how much food I was getting, when I was the skinniest person in that house, weighing about 97 pounds at 25 years old, 5'3". And she would tell me I was getting too much food. And my grandpa would brag about how he got to eat 2 to 3 dinners every night. And it's always been that way since he was a kid, and he was the favorite of his mother, who would let his other 12 siblings go hungry many times while she snuck him out to a burger restaurant and bought him and her a burger. Okay, so my camera is just about full on memory. This is really all I can say, and our roommate is going to be home, and I just don't feel comfortable talking about any of this stuff around her. I don't know why I'm sharing this, except for the fact that I know there's other people who are going through similar things, and I just want to say that yes, it is fucked up and this world can be hell, but you know, the people that are causing this hell, they're in their own hell right now, and they're gonna eventually be off this planet, you know? And I can just see so many good things happening around the world. Little bits of news I hear, you know, like alternative news outlets that share these amazing things that are happening, restoring the environment that we have been destroying, banning toxic chemicals and foods and things that we had been ingesting for a long time, you know, saving animals from extinction. I am hearing about a lot of amazing things happening, and I know some amazing people in my life. I'm really lucky to know them, even if we only talk online. And I just want everyone to know I have felt such amazing states of joy and peace, and it just really takes facing your inner demons and accepting yourself for where you are now, and just try not to worry about how things are going to get better. Just know that they are. And this is like, we are going through a birthing process, and it is painful, but there is so much beauty that is going to emerge from this. And I love you, and so many other people love you, and so many people see the beauty in you. Like, you have no idea how amazing you are. Whoever is listening to this right now, I know that you are one of the people here that deserve to feel joy and to feel content and to really be prosperous. And I just want you to believe that for yourself too. The hardest thing for us to do is really believe in ourselves. It's easier to believe in others, but we have to believe in ourselves if we want anything to change for the better.